The show is made possible in part by its supporting sponsors: Blue Water Power Group of Companies, Joe's Discount Tire, and AskGuy.ca. I know you recognize his face, and I'm sure you're curious what we're going to talk about, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you might not get what you're looking for because, Steve Devlin, a.k.a. Stevie Go Go. Thanks for having me into your home, my friend.
Thank you very much for coming.
And, we've known each other for a few years, but we haven't really connected as of late or whatever, but until now.
Two super busy guys.
Yeah, that's right. We like it that way. And we've got some mutual friends that we like to talk about behind their backs.
Yeah.
But I always start with, you're from Sarnia originally.
Yeah, yes.
Born and raised
Born
here.
and raised here, St. Pat's High School.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Fighting Irish, yeah. And then moved away for about a year and then came back. But
what did you do to go away?
Oh, lots of stuff, man.
Yeah, okay.
The whole out west thing, and
right.
coming back here and then
trying to discover
myself, and
how'd that go?
I did find myself. I came back.
right.
I came back to Sarnia. I always seem to come back to Sarnia, man. Everywhere, every time I'd leave somewhere, or leave for a bit, I always come back to Sarnia, and you take it for granted when you leave. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
The
Not
scenery,
intentionally, but
yeah, and then when you come back, it's a breath. What is it? A breath of fresh air, I guess.
Right.
To say.
Well,
I've
never left. I went away for one summer, but I never really left.
Oh, yeah.
But what is it? Do you think about Sarnia? Okay, you come back.
Yeah.
That was career choice or whatever. But
yeah, it was family, right? Like my parents and my sisters and my cousins. Like we got a big family here, so
close family.
Close family. Yeah.
Nice.
But it's always just like, you want to get away from, I don't know, the everyday thing. It's like everyone's, when you're from Sarnia, it's kind of small town mentality it has big dreams, like there's big dreams here, you know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to explain, but so when I left and then you come back, I have bigger goals every time I come back, and then, this time, I've been back for almost 20 years now.
So when you first came back, what was the goal?
Going back to school.
Yeah,
I went back to school for police foundations.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to be a border guard.
Okay.
The CBSA, and and then that whole process took a few years actually. Getting through the interview stage, and I met some great people in that program. That became CBSA officers and police officers, and they're in different trades now. So that program, everyone kind of, maybe 10% become what they want to do, but it's a tough gig to get into. So then it just took a little bit longer because I had a kid, and and I need to start making some money. So then I went back to school again to become an operator through Mohawk.
Nice.
I didn't go to Lambton. I took off for about a year and a half and went to Mohawk and got my certificates, and applied in the plants, and that I was there for maybe 7 years, and things didn't work out there, and I started a job at the Coast Guard.
Yeah. How did that come about?
Coast Guard. Well, I wasn't working. I have some friends of the family and on the street that worked there, and with my background in the plants, and they were looking. I didn't even know the Coast Guard had people like that, right? With the background of the plants, like mechanically inclined. I thought it was all search and rescue, but it's a big world. The Coast Guard, they need diesel mechanics, and they need oilers, and engineers, and navigation, and stewards, and deckhands.
There's a lot going on.
It's awesome. Yeah. What a job! It was amazing. It's amazing. I still, I still work there.
Yeah.
But it's. What was I going to say? Sorry.
No, you were coming back, and you're talking about the Coast Guard.
Oh yeah, but so when I left the plants, I was about a year and a half looking for work. I think I worked for United in the meantime, driving cab.
Yeah, I did that gig.
Yeah, it's long hours, but it was some days were good money.
Yeah, it was. It was. There's a documentary, Driving Taxi in Sarnia.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've always had this driving,
I was going to say it's a bit of a segue to sort of where you are now.
Planes, trains, and automobiles or whatever. I was on the boat and then whatever, but
So what do you do in the Coast Guard? Like,
so I'm an oiler. So that's
okay,
it's a mechanical assistant.
Yeah.
So I work with the engineer to get, that's a 50-year-old diesel engine.
Right.
So there's lots of oil
keep
leaks
it going.
and cleanups and repairs and
Yeah.
I work on the Griffin, so it's based up
okay.
in Prescott, Ontario. So we go out for 28 days at a time, and then we're home for 28 days. So it's a good gig. We work 12 hours a day. So we get our own cabins, and we get great meals, as you can tell. And it's but great people. I just I've been off the Coast Guard since June, I think, or May. I think I got off the boat.
Okay.
And I still keep in touch with the guys, and
nice.
They just invited me out for
They're like another family.
Yeah, a little pinery experience, and lip sealed. But it was a good time, And so
school was like, you enjoyed school?
Yeah, like not high school so much.
That's not very convincing.
Not high school so much.
Yeah.
Just because I
wasn't a fan of high school.
Yeah, my brain and my body weren't at the same level.
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. I grew, I think, maybe 5 or 6 inches after high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was a short guy, and not short, but wasn't that tall.
Yeah.
Now I'm 6'3".
I just couldn't wait to get out of high school because I knew everything.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to admit that either. But
I wanted to take on the world because I knew everything and wanted to pay my own bills.
Yeah. Well, I couch surfed for a while. I've been to the bottom. I've been on top.
Been there too, buddy. Right on.
So it's. I know what the struggles are, and it's kind of made me, have that thicker skin, and having to battle through some early, adversity in my life. And it's kind of made me stronger today to kind of deal with what's happening now. I think maybe.
Yeah. Okay. And we'll get to that.
Yeah.
That's we're gonna tease you, folks. But talk about your wife. Rochelle,
So Rochelle, she's amazing.
When did you meet her?
Met her 18 and a half years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's best friends with my cousin Andrea.
Okay.
Shout out to Andrea. She's in the States now. We don't see her that much, but she's always been she knew my parents before I knew her, and then we kind of met and we hit it off, and now Owen's here,
and how Owen's your boy?
Owen's 16. That's my life. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Best friends. Yeah,
best friends.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate that between being a friend and a dad?
Oh, no, he knows that I'm his dad.
Okay.
100%. I think the neighbors know I'm his dad as well. But yeah, hugs every day, telling him I love him,
right
that kind of stuff. The old Scottish people are tough, and
I tell my son every day. I love him.
You have to, man.
Yeah. And sometimes he comes to me first and says it doesn't matter. Yeah, which is cool.
3-second long hug, squeeze him, just let him know.
Yeah.
And if he does all right in life, then that's.
What's Owen want to do? Does he know?
He doesn't know. I don't know. He's been to the dentist so much that I think he should become a dentist. Every time he goes, there's always something fulfilling or something. But I had braces for, oh my God, 7 years maybe when I was growing up.
Oh, wow, that long?
Yeah,
I think I had them for 3, but then I had the headgear.
Yeah, so did I. We're the same guy. We're the same guy.
Yes, we are, right? And then I had the retainer.
Yeah, I didn't have that. But, and I used to use my pen, and I would flick off. Anyway, but my parents, I drove them nuts, man.
Right.
It's lots of money. But anyway, but Owen, but he's an athlete. He goes to Northern, and he started playing soccer with Galadevs, and then quickly. Well, not quickly. In a couple of years, learned that he was better at basketball than he was at soccer.
Yeah.
And then
is he tall?
Oh yeah, he's about 6'1" right now.
Oh, okay.
Grade 11.
Can he take dad yet?
Oh yeah, he can. Well, he can shoot the lights out. I can tell you that.
Right.
He may not get to the net, but he can shoot. But yeah, he plays for Northern, and then he went up to Toronto this year and played for Cadogan Elite,
nice.
which is out of Jane and Finch area. So he went and learned how to toughen up pretty quick.
Wow. Right.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. So. Actually, it's kind of crazy that I met the coach, Coach T, and he has this clothing brand called Family is Key, and he gave me a bunch of stuff, and I represent it with the Tuk Tuk. I always wear that Family is Key hat, and it just, you know, like Sarnia's, I don't want to get into politics of Sarnia basketball and all that kind of stuff, but, you know, there's a divide there. And, you know, in Toronto, there's not so much. It's like you go and play for whoever you want to play for. And so he went up to Toronto and he learned a lot. And he actually shot the most threes in the it's called the North Pole Hoop Showcase. Shot the most threes out of anyone in that league.
Nice.
Little you know, white boy from Sarnia.
Right.
You know. And so now he's back in Sarnia. He's going to go, well, he was ready to start playing this for a Northern senior team, and now he's just hurt himself at the Lambton College U18 elite tryout or whatever. And
cool.
Now he's off for eight weeks.
Yeah. Bad timing.
Yeah,
maybe?
But he's a great kid. He's you know, he does well in school. He doesn't get in any trouble. He's
at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what it.
Right.
Yeah.
Better than us.
Better
right.
Than, exactly.
Like, way to go, kid. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he's not afraid to say.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to say "I love you" from across the room
in front of his
whole bunch of people. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're the same. I have the exact same with my son too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, and you know, so proud dad moments going on there, and mom too. Eh, mom for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Rochelle. Yeah, she's been at Suncor now for I don't know, 23 years.
Yeah.
She was one of the first ones through the CPET
okay.
programs.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's respected all through that Suncor, and you know, when I'm on the Tuk Tuk or whatever, they, you know, people, I work with Ray.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Ray. You know, I said hi to Stevie last night to Ray and all that kind of stuff. And it's good.
She's
we're the same. We're both 46, but.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Were you supposed to tell everybody that she's?
Oh yeah, she's 21. Yeah.
Right. But Sarnia all your life, and you founded a place to plant your feet. What made that decision? Like, was it a wow, look at what we have here in Sarnia, or was it just convenient career wise, or what was it?
Yeah, when I came, well, just needing my parents, you know, when I came back, and you know, I didn't have any education when I came back. I still had to go back to school, and I really didn't, you know, have the money to live anywhere.
Okay.
You know, so I came back, and then once you come back, you start reconnecting with friends, and you know, you get girlfriends, and you don't want to leave, and that kind of stuff. So I've always, like, every few years, I kind of switch it up a little bit. You know, I never, but I think I know now that why I was that way when I was growing up is like always different things. So I always wanted to do my own thing, I think, maybe. And when I think back, and you know, I've always had crazy ideas. I had a Bricks for Kids Lego business. Yeah, that was me back in the day.
Oh wow.
It didn't work out.
Who doesn't like Lego though? I mean, even as big kids, like if we brought out 2 boxes full of Lego right now, we could sit here and still have the interview and be building stuff like
robotic Lego and all the superhero stuff. And you know, we had a creative learning center, me and my sister-in-law, and it was in the David Jones Plaza there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we had, you know, Lego tables and all that kind of, but I just kind of think outside the box a lot, like try to. I just want things different because, you know, the everyday thing of like 9 to 5.
Well, yeah.
Or
anybody can open a burger joint.
Right.
Because they're everywhere.
They're everywhere, right? And it's the same. It's a menu, but to be creative and.
So you're an out of the box kind of guy.
Yeah. I've been told that. I've been told that a lot.
It's not a bad thing.
No.
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, but but you need, you know, I wish I had the smarts of a CEO, you know, with the creative spirit of an artist. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying.
What makes you think that you don't?
Well, things aren't working out, I guess, the way that I envisioned.
Right.
I guess. I really like.
Not yet.
So people have said I'm the first one through the wall. You know,
right.
Gets bloody kind of thing, and.
The first heart transplant.
Okay.
Didn't go well.
Well,
now it's
right.
Day surgery.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you that way.
I mean, easy for me to say sitting where I'm sitting at the moment with what you're going through, but like you must. I mean, in talking to you, you know, off and on over the years, we've sat together and had a beer or whatever, but. And talked to our mutual friend Ryan. We were talking about you behind your back the other day.
Work.
Yeah, right. And you know, he said, you know, like, yeah, okay, he's made a couple boo-boos there, but you know, you're a smart guy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I appreciate that. Man.
What keeps you going?
Well, you know, I'm not really. I'll tell you what, Dave. I'll kind of mention it. The Dragon's Den thing.
Yeah.
Really kept me going.
Good.
Because I was ready to shut it down.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot that went into it to get it started and all that kind of stuff, and you know, getting pulled off the road last year and figure my stuff out in the wintertime. And when I applied for Dragon's Den, I told the wife, I told Rochelle, I'm like, hey, I sent her the email that, you know, they've got my submission and, you know, my video, and she's like, oh, well, what do you think's gonna happen? Like, oh, nothing's gonna happen. And then I got the email saying, you know, we'd like to set up an interview. And I was like, oh, okay. So I parked the back of the Tuk Tuk up to the doors, the double doors there, and I had my laptop up right here and was interviewing, and I kind of just pulled the doors on a string, and the doors opened, and you know.
It's awesome.
And
right?
the Tuk Tuk was right.
Did you have like shining lights on there and everything?
It was great. It was
confetti
great.
cannons.
They were like, "Where is it?" And I was like, "Boom!" And it was just like, and they were just like, and you know, and I had advertisements on it at the time, and you know, all that stuff, and and they loved it. They were blown away, and they were just so, we want you to be on the show, and you know, and I was just like, so I was like, Ray, I got something here. If someone from, you know, outside of Sarnia is, you know, that's in TV land, they see some potential possibly, and you know, I work with a producer.
Well, right?
Yeah. I worked with a producer for like 5 weeks, I believe, and she's like, you knocked it out of the park in the first session. She's like, so just you stick with that, and you'll be all right. And man, what an experience.
Well, I know you're NDA'd.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing a positive experience, and I can come to my own conclusions, and that won't break any NDAs.
Right.
And there's been several people from Sarnia that have been on Dragon's Den.
Oh, I researched it all. Yeah.
You know, and Kevin Wyville, right?
Yeah.
Jester.
Yeah, the Jester.
He's a boxer now.
Wow.
You see that?
No, I did
not. He won his first fight. He knocked him.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I just did it the other day. Yeah. So
I bet you wish it was Kevin O'Leary.
Right. Maybe that's what he saw. Right.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to have Kevin back on the show.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that's gotta. I mean, we all go through stuff, right, Steve? You know, and there's usually something that comes around that kicks us in the butt and says, "Okay, keep going" or whatever. But I mean, that's inspirational because you like you said, you were at this point, and we haven't even gotten to where you are now. At that point, like you were ready to just throw your arms up and screw this. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Were those the feelings that you were having?
Oh yeah, with the minute, just like.
So then where did Rochelle come in?
Rochelle, it's the support and it, you know, a lot of people would say, just stop it. I'm not saying like, that's how how I think about it. Like, just, you know, don't waste any more money. Let's just go back to, you know, like, then she's like, hey, like, let's go. She's like, this is going to be good. She's like, what do you think's going to happen after? Like, what do you think? Like, what's next? And it's that excitement that, you know.
That's a great lady then.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I have the same with Jennifer.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've met her a couple times.
Yeah, a few times I said, no, I'm not doing this anymore or that or whatever. And she lets me have my little fit in the corner, and then she goes, okay, she says, what's next?
Well, the social media, right, really, I don't know if you get it so much with your show, but the social media thing that took off in the last couple of weeks, it's enough to make you, you know, reconsider some stuff. And the phone calls, not just from my wife or text from my wife, but from all my friends and family, and even not my friends and family, the community, like, have really lifted me up to
keep
get
you
back
going.
at it.
Let's go back a little bit more still, like, and we'll get there, folks. I promise. Tease.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, okay, I'm going to do this Tuk Tuk thing. You know, obviously you had to have a conversation with your wife.
Yes.
And probably your son.
Oh
too.
yeah, I never really.
And but then you got, you know, like you've got all these sponsors on there.
Yeah.
Some most that I would say you've known for years or whatever.
Yeah.
That had to be inspiring when I said, "Hey, would you sponsor me?" And they were like, "How much?"
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Right?
So the conversation, I was actually on the boat when I decided to do Stevie Go Go, like on the Coast Guard boat on my off time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
On my off time.
Wasn't using company paper.
Yeah, so like using whiteboards and coming up with the logo. Sean Watts was my original. I don't know if you know Sean Watts, but I put a shout out to Sean saying, "Can you design a logo with me, kind of whatever?" And he on a Tuk Tuk, and this is the one I want to buy, and all this,
right.
And he came through with that logo, and I was like, "Oh my God, it makes it real life."
It does.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was really good, and then exactly what I was going to do with the route and the $5 rides and all this kind of stuff. But on the boat, when I was like, well, how am I going to, I looked for insurance. Insurance was going to be through the roof. So I was like, how am I going to offset this before I even get
started?
Not offset, but help me out, right? So I was like, if I sell ads on the sides and I make, and if I get someone to sponsor at the bottom and then the top, I'm like, let me just see if I can put a feeler out there. And, I kind of came up with a number, and the response was incredible.
Yeah.
South Shore they hopped on Daryl and Steph to get me going. It was amazing what they did for me at the beginning there. Like I had no idea how raps worked and how advertising worked and that kind of stuff. And then, whoever's on there now, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, or
you say whatever you want.
Oh yeah. Like Nicole Smith and Steph and Madeline and Ann and I'm missing Kreiderman, and I'm missing people right now because I'm on the spot, but they reached out right away and were like, yes, for sure, we want it. It's an advertisement that's going to be all over the city.
Right.
It's not one spot, you know, and they get them on every Tuk Tuk.
And whenever somebody takes a picture of them on the Tuk Tuk, there's Nicole's face.
Yeah, like the back, or Jordy, right, from Ironworks.
Yeah.
At Main Street on there, sorry too. I'm just kind of trying to give out shout outs there. But yeah, so I was trying to do my best to have the people that supported me get their name out there as well, with every picture, with every post, with every and how I knew it was working was because they re-upped the next year. Yeah. After year one, they're like, we're in again. Yeah. And that was I was like, okay, there's something here. Let's keep going here. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys.
Well, I've said it on almost every show, and I'll keep saying it, but when this community recognizes greatness and they see support, and they like they're all in. And some of these folks, and I'll go back to, I'm not eliminating anybody, but Nicole Smith always comes to mind
it's good. So she
supports a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
As many of them do. It's not just one thing.
No. She's everywhere.
That's a lot of money, and that's a lot. But that shows the
I want to say
genuine support.
Well, just like Cat and Kids, right? Like So Jason Winter from Bad Dog, sponsored me to be out there. Yeah. And it's like last year I came out there and I didn't know what to expect. This year, my first year, and they were. I was so nervous out there last year. I just was like, I don't know.
Figuring it out.
How is this going to work? And then when I got the letter saying, you were a hit, I was like, no way. I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah. Because I had some issues getting him out there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, last year, and
like power-wise?
Yeah, it fell off the trailer on Vital Street. Oh. Yeah, so I had to have Captain Hook come out and yeah.
I do have to say though, there's one thing I don't know that I'm a big fan of with this Stevie Go Go. Okay. One of your drivers.
Yes.
Rob Salisbury. Do you know what you're doing?
Yeah. Well, I've known Robbie a long time, and that's him.
He'll have a comment. I know it. Yeah. He doesn't say much on my comments or my posts, but once in a while he does, and I'm like, where did that even come from?
Like even when I text him, I'll text him, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "Well, good for you."
I know, right? He's really good at it.
Oh, but
you know what? When I first saw that he was doing that, I think it must have been maybe it was during Revelry. Or Borderfest or something like that.
It was what
for him driving the Tuk Tuk. I think it was Revelry.
Yeah. No, Brian. Did he do Revelry or did Brian?
Anyway, a friend of mine told me they got on the Tuk Tuk and it was like, you won't believe who was driving. I'm like, really? No, he'd be a riot though. He really would. He'd be having a lot of fun with it.
He is. So the big problem that I have hiring people is you just have to it's not winging it. It's being yourself without crossing lines. You know, you got to be funny. You got to sing. You got to talk. You got to be serious sometimes. You have to be careful. You have to be safe.
Yeah.
You have to know where you're going. It's you don't have like a GPS up there.
Well, if you ever want to get rid of that Rob guy, I'll take over.
But Rob's been fantastic.
I know.
Rob's great. And my other driver, my cousin Brian. Brian's a beauty. His birthday. We're a month apart. We're cousins.
Yeah, Rick, happy birthday. As of this recording, as of today, right? Yeah. And that's awesome.
But yeah.
But that's I guess what I was getting at there. You know, all kidding aside, sort of. It's a special kind of person. That's part of the product.
Yes.
Is the driver. Right?
Yes. That's. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, but that's what a lot of people when they request it, they say, "Are you the one? Are you driving us? Are you?" Yeah. I'm like, "Yeah, I can't. There can't be two." But you know, Brian's amazing and in his own way, and Robbie's amazing in his own way, and this year was going great. It was. Yeah. It really was.
So here we are.
Yeah.
All right, and we can talk about more stuff. Let's talk about what everybody's wondering about right now. So, about a week and a half ago, I guess, or a week ago?
It's last Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. You're out doing your thing. You're pretty happy. Like, you finally got things on the road, and then all of a sudden, you're pulled over, and then things start to happen. And
it was not a good day. It was, It was a good day, and then...
And just so, for the viewers to know, we had already planned this interview...
Yes.
A couple weeks ago, and then like you had to switch it, and I had to we were trying to get our schedules.
Yeah.
But this interview was already set before anything
happened. Yeah.
And then actually, I think the day that it happened was the day we were supposed to have the interview, or maybe it was the next day.
It was the next day. Yeah.
And I reached out and I said, look, like if you still want to do this, we might be a good time, or. If you don't, that's okay. Because I knew you'd be thinking about it. Oh, I don't want to cancel Dave or something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, you decided, which was fine, to say,
I need a couple days to.
Because you were kicked. You felt kicked in the gut. And you're emotional, which who wouldn't be, with all your heart and soul in it. And then, of course, you know, without going down any rabbit holes, there's, you know, everybody on Facebook's got an opinion. And, you know, they were beaten up from both sides. You know, Sarnia Police Service, obviously. They can do all the right in the world, and somebody's still going to pick on them, right?
Yes. Like, well, they've been through a lot too, right? Like,
right. So, and they have a job to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, I see that side of it, and then the other side, you know, well, you know, here's Stevie trying to pull something off good and leave him alone.
Yeah, so you can't. I understand where they're coming. Like, I don't want them to turn a blind eye. You know what I'm saying? Like, to what?
Yeah.
If I'm not doing something right, then they have all the right to pull me over. It's just the fact that I went through the right channels, and I was told some things by other departments in Ontario that, you know, I was doing the right thing, and when push came to shove, they looked it up and they investigated and found that I was in violation of some stuff that I'm fighting.
Okay. All right.
You know, I had a lot. There's a lot of tickets. There's 10 or 11 tickets that I got cited for. Can't really say too much else after that about what happened. Like, I really wanted to address the one like the open alcohol violation really got to me. It you know, it was like they didn't like there was no. I don't think it was on me that they're saying I was drinking, but just the fact that I had someone's cooler in the back that, you know, they're just like, it's not. So the rule is limos can't. You're not allowed to drink in a limo. You're not allowed to drink in a party bus, but people do. You know, you can. The reason I got was because they have tinted windows and doors. That's
you're right.
Right, like it's a touchy subject. Sure. I don't want to get anyone in trouble, and I don't want to. But if you want to drink, if a driver wants to actually drink and whatever, nothing is going to stop them. A partition's not going to stop them.
No, that's right.
Like they're going to have a drink, whether so. It should be on the onus of the. I'm not trying to change laws or or anything like that. I know what I did was wrong. In hindsight, I thought what I was doing was a good thing, returning a cooler home to a customer. I know now not to even cross that line. Right. Like, I've learned my lesson. I apologize for it. Like, if that kind of stuff.
So,
but
okay. So
that's the one that really got me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to go too far, because you do have a representative now. And I guess at the end of the day, though, like you and I talked, before this interview to say, okay, like what do you want this to look like? And one of the the thing that you really said, I don't want to call anybody out. I don't want to, whatever. And and I've been asked a few times. It's like, well, when are you going to have so and so on the show? And it's like,
that both sides.
I don't do news. I don't do like we're staying.
Dave, what you do is a good thing. And when we talked, that's why I told my wife that I'm like, I said, Dave is not. He's doing a good thing here. He doesn't have an agenda.
I'm not out to get anybody,
or not me or anything. Like it's not a news article. It's a people article, right? It's
100%.
People in our community and.
But I think it was important that that we talked about that and said, like, this is how we want this to go, because really at the end of the day, what you're telling me is you're going to deal with what you got to deal with, but you'd like, if you could, get all the departments together and just go, okay, all right.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way that this can work.
Yeah.
So can we please figure out how that happens?
So my bigger picture, and even like speaking to my family, like I have a smart cousin Scott. I'll put that in there. That we've brainstormed for 2 years about how we really want to put this together, and we're like, even when I put that package together to go to Transport Canada last year, I had the support of all the restaurants like Patty Flaherty's and Alternate Grounds and Bad Dog.
Actually, a great service for them to have.
Oh, like whenever I showed up, right, open arms. But I put a package together with the help of Marilyn Gladu, Bob Bailey, Mike Bradley, letters of support, and with my specifications of my Tuk Tuks and exactly what I wanted to happen. I'm like, we just want Sarnia to be a pilot program for this low-speed vehicle Tuk Tuk. Mm-hmm. Let's see what happens in a year. I'll collect the data, and we can manage it. And it was not even looked at. Thrown out, cannot change the Highway Traffic Act. I said, I don't want to change the Highway Traffic Act. I just want to amend it so no one has to wear helmets in the back. Mm-hmm. That's my big thing. No one's gonna put a helmet on to go out for a dinner on a Saturday night.
Well, I might.
You might, but like
no, I know.
But like,
but hey, and ladies get their hair done and whatever. Put this helmet on.
And it's even actually the clearance of the safety cage too. When you put the helmet on, there's not much, and people are they're pretty close to each other. There's more of a safety risk doing that, putting the helmets on, than without it. The safety cage. That's what I'm trying to change. I'm talking too much here, but I just need to amend. I need to amend, or just have them say, okay, well, in this instance, let's just change it for this program or whatever. But it's a long way away. There's different avenues I can take with the ministry, and I have a couple appointments tomorrow after the meeting tomorrow at the Sarnia Police Board. Right down to the ministry and trying to get me back on the road.
Right. Well, you've got a lot of community support out there.
It's amazing. But like, I can't even.
Not that changes laws to whatever, but I mean, it's got to help keep you going.
I can't. The people are. I haven't even met you. That's how ever you think. I haven't even met you, and I feel like I know you, and like your energy comes through, and your positivity. I'm trying to stay positive, but sometimes a little bit of anger comes out, but. That's just me being inexperienced, and and
it's okay to be angry. You just can't stay there.
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm learning, but like people starting support pages for rallies and like going to this, and you should sell merchandise and support Stevie Go. It's been incredible, and I don't even know how to thank them but I can thank them by getting them back on the road.
Well, you keep going. That's what you do, and at the end of the day, like the alternative is. Quit.
Yeah.
Right. And
So I do have another opportunity. I was going to bring this up.
Yeah. Sure.
So Envision St. John out east in New Brunswick. Mm-hmm. I met with them earlier in the year. Went out to St. Martin to the Fundy Woods campground. A couple local guys from Sarnia opened that.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
out in New Brunswick. The Fundy Woods. It's Matt Harrison and Craig Harrison's family.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, it's unbelievable.
Cool.
Put me up in a cottage, me and the wife, get away for a few days, and introduced me to some good people out there on the board, like the tourism boards. So then I went and met this Envision St. John, who we sat there for 2 hours and talked about all the possibilities of Stevie Fly, which is that would be the region's first airport shuttle service.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's on top of the Tuk Tuk stuff. But they don't have the red tape. They don't have... So when all this stuff happened last week, they follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and they reached out, and they're just like, what's happening out there? And I was like, oh, they're like, is this wheels and helmets? I'm like, yeah. They're like, just come on out. Start up here. I really want to get Sarnia going. I'm going to put this year, I'm going to put all my effort into getting back on the road. There's not too many months left.
Right.
Like September, October.
Yeah.
I
hear you.
And
I'm
working
on two wheels.
Yeah. Working with another company in Sarnia, Scaregrams, or with Kristen and Dana, about like a possible Canatera, Halloween thing. Like it's all thrown out. Weddings and bachelorette parties. They're all. I want to get back on the road for those things, but if it doesn't work out, I'll just in Sarnia or in Ontario. I'll pack up and move out east.
Yeah, you would. So you would lift up everything here.
Well, I would go out there first.
Well, sure.
Yeah. And so there's St. John, New Brunswick. There's St. Martin's and Quinns Pansis. I believe that's what it's called. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I forgot the spelling. But they're eager and they can't wait, and they love the idea, and it's a laid back community. Yep.
I've been.
I'm not saying Sarnia's not laid back. I'm just the
I've been
rules
to
in
St. John
Ontario.
before.
Yeah, it's
not St. John's.
St. John. SAINT.
Yeah.
But they have like that Seacan village too, or it's right. Oh, it's all like different. How everyone talks about down by Centennial, they should have shops and cafes and all that. Build up that. And I think one of the suggestions was a Seacan cafe or sort of thing, but that's what they have out there, and it was unbelievable to walk through, right on the water. And I was just like, this is, I think I kind of shared a post too, and it got some traction about those Seacans, but I can understand people's like, leave it. It's fine the way it is, but I also hear the other part where let's get it revitalized and let's get people down there and let's get people moving out of the way of each other, and
There's a lot. I think most would agree with that.
Right.
We could be doing more. I don't know why we don't.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot like the thing that really gets me is a suggestion. So when there's a suggestion for Canatera Park or Centennial, there's only two options. When they come out with a plan, I think it should be like when you go to the meetings and stuff, you can put your suggestions, but none of those suggestions seem to go in.
Yeah.
I
know they always put out like surveys.
Yeah.
People's Sarnia or Sarnia or whatever.
But I don't know how much of that really goes into the plan. Because when I talk to them about having a Stevie Go Go hub in Canatera Park, everyone said, they all say it's a great idea, but it never ever gets onto a plan or anything. That kind of thing. And then I've talked to other people about what they thought should go down there, and nothing ever seems to. But some people don't want to touch Canatera Park.
Well, there's lots of different reasons there, and we probably won't get into all that.
Yeah.
But I hear you.
Yeah.
You've lived in Sarnia all your life. Yeah. Most of your life.
Yeah.
It's got to be a really emotional.
Yes.
Decision if you had to make that decision to load up the family and go and say, here we go. And I mean, obviously your wife's
we're not moving right now.
No, don't start any rumors, but it's an option you've obviously looked at, and you have to look at those options, because at the end of the day you got to look after yourself too, right? And make this work too.
But because of the Dragon's Den possibility, or even let's just say it was bad news on Dragon's Den, even if it airs,
somebody will see it,
right? It's the possibilities, right? So
you can't buy that advertising, right? You really can't.
No, it goes to millions of people, right? So I just got an email the other night that the season 19 starts on September 26th at 8 p.m. on CBC. But I don't have an episode air date yet. They let me know 4 weeks before it airs.
All right.
But regardless of that, the possibilities of when that goes to air after the fact in other parts of Canada that's what because my whole goal is to franchise Stevie Go Go across Canada and North America. That's what my goal is in the next 10 years. It takes about 10 years to franchise. Right. So opening up little hubs around Canada would be the start to get the numbers, and then go from there.
Right.
Selling franchises for cheap. Mm-hmm. And, for young entrepreneurs to start a business, like grass cutting businesses and, pressure washing businesses, that kind of stuff. A step above that and below like the Tim Hortons and McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. To get you started with not a lot of investment up front. Yeah. You'll get some there's not much to this gig, right? It's a kind of a simple concept. Mm-hmm. You're driving people around.
Yeah. But in a fun way.
In a fun way, unique way.
Well, and I mean, I'm kind of, I haven't been on one yet. And I keep saying, a few friends have said we need to do like a tour around. Have it like
the tours
Caesar Sunday or something. And, get around town safe.
So when I started Stevie Go Go, I had this vision of like 2-hour tours of Sarnia and $5 rides, and and you have to adapt and you have to change with what comes. So the $5 rides are still happening. Well, we're still happening, but they weren't busy. It wasn't busy for the $5 rides.
Oh, okay.
It was the actual tours that you booked online.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I would have thought the $5.
That's Chris McRoberts yelling $5 from a megaphone in the back with her dogs. Chrissy McRoberts has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of help. Michelle Stokely. I wish I could plug every name that helped me, but
it's okay.
Yeah.
They know you're sincere.
But the tours, whereas it was going to be a 2-hour tour, up to 6 people. And we do all this. And then, when I started getting better at the route I was taking and the directions and where the stops were going to be for the pictures and under the bridge and, downtown and in the marinas, the Sarnia sign was unbelievable. I'm like, this is next level tourism here. People just think it's a sign, but when you stop and people get out and they start wrapping their arms around it, and, it's a
Jennifer and I went down there and felt silly at first, but then we were like, well, everybody's doing it. This is a thing now.
It's a thing.
So, and that was the same thing with Stevie Go Go I was seeing too, is like people are like, okay, I'm sure they said, could you just park right there so we could, they had your posing and they could get in there and do their thing. And,
it was awesome.
And again, that's just advertising that you can't buy that.
You can't buy it. You can't.
Because it's genuine too, right?
Yeah. And it's, I'm like, hey, would you guys mind stopping at Sarnia sign? Yeah! Everybody's screaming, right? Like, even the kids' birthdays when, what song do you want to hear? And I'm singing along and they're all singing. And it's great. You guys want to stop at the Sarnia sign? Yeah! It's awesome. It's great. You can't beat the reactions of people. And, it's 99% positive and 1% negative. That's, and you'll get that with everything. I've learned that you'll get that with everything.
Well, I heard something, maybe I'll send you the audio book, and if you watch my stuff and people know I'm a positive, motivational type thing. Guy, I'm a guy.
We won't get into that.
Right. Fail Forward.
Okay.
How to Fail Forward by John C. Maxwell.
Okay.
And one of the things he said was, if you succeed at first, try something harder.
Wow.
So
don't stop,
right? If it's easy, we've always heard that if at first you don't succeed, try again. Yeah. If at first you succeed, it was too easy. Yeah. So, I think that if you process that for a bit and go, all right, I bet you any of the Dragons would agree and say, if you think you're just signing up looking for an easy win here, if you thought the work was hard to get to Dragon's Den, I'm quite sure they make your work even harder if they're going to give you some money and whoever. I mean, So, I repeat myself a lot, but you're surrounded with the right people.
Yes, my team and I call myself a team now because we're in contact every single day, and it's about how we're going to move forward, and it's never one of the constant answers and the constant advice is do not stay still for too long. You always have to.
You got to keep moving.
I know it's cliche and all that kind of stuff,
but it's cliche for a reason.
Yeah, because it's true.
Right?
It's like if you take 3 days off, you're behind.
You're losing.
I'm learning, and you know, this part of my life that's happening right now is I've learned quick how to move forward in a positive way without getting like back in the day, like with Lego, I would get angry if things weren't working out. I didn't know how to handle myself, and I'd come home and maybe take it out on my family or whatever,
right?
And you know what I'm saying. They have the blood, sweat, and tears of everything, right? Like.
Talk to my family.
Yeah,
he's grumpy.
Not everything's all peaches and and roses or whatever they say. But I've learned, like, so now it's like, the social. It all goes back to social media is just like it's a blessing and a curse. But I'm learning from that more and more that it doesn't really matter what I say. People are going to take it whatever. So. I'm only going to do what's right for me and my family. You
can't control what comes out of other people's mouths,
right.
or in this case, what they type.
Yeah.
And
that's why I feel bad for my kids' generation,
yeah.
because back in the day, you couldn't get away with saying some of the stuff that's being said, but they have it easier with technology, and they have it worse because of technology.
Mm-hmm. Double-edged sword kind of thing.
You gotta do the outdoor thing, a little bit of screen time. I don't want to do this is a whole new conversation.
No, that's okay.
Being outdoors without a screen is a healer.
I just interviewed somebody else the other day, and she said, like, I get on my Facebook, but I love nature and going for walks and. We got to stay connected to that, right? And breathe the fresh air, and there's still going to be stuff like I've never I would say I've never had a problem with Facebook. I've been attacked on some things and whatever, and it's like, where did that come from, really? Yeah. But you don't see anything negative on my Facebook, and if it comes up, like. I treat it like real life.
That's the way it should be. That's the way I do it too.
Friends, right?
Yeah, that's the way I do it.
And I said something, and there's a problem.
Yeah.
You pull me aside. You don't say it in front of everyone. You go, listen, Burrows, like, what are you being a jerk for? Don't do that again. It bothers me. And if I'm a real friend, honestly, I'm going to go, oh my goodness, I totally didn't mean that. I'm so sorry. And if I do it again, you pull me aside again. Yeah. And if I keep behaving away, you don't hang out with me, or you block me.
Yes.
And what you put out there is what you're going to get as well. There's only positive on my Facebook.
That's
if
good.
It's deleted, it's because I gave you a fair warning and you didn't smarten up. So bye. Don't care.
Yeah.
And you don't think you give yourself enough credit, Steve. Like you've put yourself in the right place. You got a wonderful wife, obviously, and your son supports you, and you've got a whole community around you. There's always going to be a few that come through the cracks and point fingers and whatever, but I'll be honest. I'll say people like that, like they got nothing better to do because their own life sucks.
There you go, Dave. Don't make me cry on the show, okay?
You're doing you're doing something.
Thank you, man.
And that's the key. Like I don't know about like you've been a businessman a long time. You've had businesses that failed.
Yeah.
To get you to here.
Yeah.
I don't even tell you how many businesses I've had.
Yeah.
Finally.
It's no. And then when you finally have something that like everyone,
like hold on to it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And and I know you already are. Well, maybe I'm going to get emotional, but many of my business mentors told me that you got to have a why, and your why's got to make you cry. And if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not strong enough.
Yeah.
So you've got yours.
Holy man, you got them all, right?
So I read a lot. I'm not that smart.
Yeah, the Dragon gave me a couple books like that.
Well, it's true, man. Yeah. Like you got to exercise the mind and everything. And,
thank you.
And I've been watching from afar for a long time, since almost the beginning. And I've said to myself, keep an eye on that guy, man. I'm telling you. And the conversations, I've never had a negative conversation about Stevie Go Go with anybody.
That's unbelievable, man, to hear. That's unbelievable. I know I saw you, remember I saw you at the Big Squeeze.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, and we were like, I said to Kaylin, I go, like, she's like, we're getting him next year. I'm like, sign me up again.
Yeah, that was great. She's like, are you Stevie? And I'm like, yeah. I get that a lot. Like, no one knows my last name anymore, which is a good thing.
Right. Maybe right now.
Everyone's calling me Go Go or whatever. But her reaction to she's like, would you take us next year? I'm like, yeah. Can I get a selfie? I'm like, let's booth each other's. If you tag me in the big squeeze, I'm going to send it to my guys.
And this is the thing, right? Is community.
Chris McRoberts has been like that.
Stevie Go Go, and I'm referring to the product at the moment.
Yeah.
I believe is a positive force in this community that, aside from making money and being self-sustaining, that's all it really is wonderful. But I see it as a connector in our community.
Thank you. Yes, that's what it was originally for.
Putting people in a place. They have to sit beside each other close, which we weren't allowed to do for a long time, and some people still want. It forces people to talk to each other. Because you probably sometimes get people on those things that don't know each other.
Well, that's what the whole original.
Right?
That's what the whole original idea was. Was to connect Mitten Village to Point Edward.
Right.
Through the middle. Right.
Yeah.
And through rides. So if I could get. So that was my whole, on the whiteboards and the Coast Guard, it was connecting Mitten Village to Point Edward within for $5.
Right.
That was my whole outlook. And then, it didn't really work out like that, but I still go to, the $5 thing didn't work out. But I still am in Mitten Village every day on the Tuk Tuk, right?
I think I did call you a couple of times because I was having a couple of bevies, and I was like, "Hey," and you're like, "I'm busy," and I was like, "It's okay." No, I was happy to hear you.
Yeah.
Because of that, right? And
connecting is the word, man. It was
100%.
Yeah, it's
and that shows in what you've done so far, like just from the social media aspect of what people are seeing, and that perspective, right? They're like, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
When people start saying things like, I want to be a part of that.
That's awesome, yeah. That's great.
Remember that.
Thank you.
When you have the day of like, screw this, I'm done, just remember that. You're connecting people, and you're having, I've always said, if you have two things, relationships and impact on those relationships, and you're doing that.
Thank you, man.
This is I always tell my wife and my son, and then sometimes they have to remind me too. Sometimes it's just a test.
Okay.
And sometimes it's a major final exam, but it's just a test. And Brian Banks, right?
Banks, yeah.
That movie, and there's only one thing in life you have control over, and that's how you respond to it. So, there's a lot of people rooting for you here.
Thank you.
And you have to hold on to that.
And I honestly, I feel it. I feel that they are. And, tomorrow's a big day at the ministry. And, I'll give an update at the end of the week about how things are going. And
it's not going to be easy. Like, I'm not here to say, stay focused and positive. It's going to be easy, but it won't be. Success is painful.
Yes. Well,
right now, sure, Dave. Easy for you to say.
Right now, it's
painful.
It is. Yeah. No, that's what I'm getting a lot of. You're the first to the wall, the first to get bloodied, the first, all that kind of stuff. And I thought last year was me getting through the wall, but one of the things I took away from the Dragons was you're doing it first, and how bad? They're like, how bad do you want it? And I was like, I'll do anything. Well, would you quit your job to do this? I said, absolutely. And they're like, there's things you got to do, right? Like there's some things you got to do to prove it. And,
it's a fair question. I mean, the Dragons, they're...
They asked me to change my...
They're in it, right?
Yeah, They asked me to change my name to 1-800-GO-GO. Because of
you say, well, if you finance like 50 Stevie Go Go hubs, I'll put whatever number you want.
Whatever. I said, I'll do whatever you want. Like changing the logo. They were full of they were cutthroat. A few of them were cutthroat.
It's business, man.
Oh yeah, and being up in front
I can't wait to see it.
5 billionaires and
Did you feel intimidated?
Oh yeah. I drove the Tuk Tuk right on.
Did you?
Yes.
Awesome.
You'll see them getting it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't want to get. Yeah.
But it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
That's
sorry about that. But
no, that's okay.
But I trailered the Tuk Tuk up to CDC and
awesome.
on the Gardner. It was And with all the construction on Spadina and going into, I was like, and it was Game 6 of the Boston and Leafs.
Oh, wow.
So it was
busy.
It was, and I had to make a left onto John Street.
Did you make a little money on the way there to the studio? Like, hey, $5.
No, and then it was funny. A police officer. Because you take the Tuk Tuk onto an elevator to go into CBC,
Oh, yeah, right.
and then this cop says, "What is that? And what is it doing?" I'm like, and the producer's like, "It's going on to the show," and they're like, "Yeah, it can't be here." I'm like, "Well, it's just foreshadowing of later."
All right.
No, I'm just.
I get you. I got to tell you, it's been a pleasure sitting
Thanks,
here, and you know, in hindsight, I guess the timing of this was well unplanned.
Yes.
Right?
Well,
So,
that's life. Man.
I'll leave it to you. You shared a lot here today, and I appreciate you allowing me to share this with the viewers. On a final note, anything you want to add?
No, thank you. Thank you to every single person that's wrote or said or, not even said to me, just like, to other people, just spreading the word. And I, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you very much.
Right on.
Oh man, I'm gonna.
It's okay. You're allowed to.
Man, I think I'm a tough guy, but some emotions take over me, man.
You're talking to the choir, buddy. Emotional.
Thanks, no, and Dave, I truly appreciate this.
I'm
man.
glad I
Thank you.
could do this and share this with all of you. Now, this is they're all important, so that's why I say to you, click the like and the love button, of course, but the share button is the most important button, so we can share Stevie Go Go's story and everybody else. But as always, that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend, and we'll see you next week, maybe on a Stevie Go Go.
Hopefully.
That's all. We'll see you next time on the show. Bye for now. That's it, buddy.
Thank you very much, man.
You're very welcome.
That was good.